What's happening, Midwest Street Talk fam? Welcome back to another powerful episode where we shed light on the real stories of the homeless, addicted, and mentally unstable. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and join the Street Warriors where we stand up for those who need a voice. Let's get it. Hey man, thank you for kicking it with Midwest Street Talk, man. Who I got with me today?
Brittany Love Keller.
Brittany, okay. So Brittany, man, where you from?
Originally south side of Milwaukee.
Southside Milwaukee. Well, that's a tough joint.
Yeah. Definitely hard school. Went down to Florida for about 20 years, off and on though. I come back and forth in my teenage years, come back up to grandma. Mom couldn't handle me, sent me to grandma's on the south side, and I got plugged up. My family on my dad's side, Puerto Rican. I'm half Puerto Rican, Boricua, and got caught up in gang life early.
What brought you here though to Wisconsin?
Right
Appleton,
now,
Wisconsin.
at this time, so my mom wanted to be closer to my grandparents who still live on the south side. My grandpa just turned 88, my grandma's 85, and my mom didn't want to buy a house in Milwaukee, so she got a spot here in Appleton. Well, her husband got diagnosed with dementia, and I do private home care. I specialize with Alzheimer's patients. So she called me to come up here and help her get situated, let me get his doctors going, his insurance, all of that, so she could try to be there more for my grandma. And I came up here. I'm in recovery. I had 3.5 years clean off of everything. I became IV drug user. I had a full scholarship to Florida Seminoles softball team. I was 16. I skipped 2 grades in school and got in a bad car accident spring break and was in a wheelchair for 9 months. And the doctors in Florida back then were just pushing oxys. And I never did any of that shit growing up. Like smoked weed, partied, little ecstasy gatherings and raves or whatever. But when those doctors gave me those blue devils, man, it changed my whole life. I went from on the dean's list, scholarships and fucking all of that to one day being an IV drug user.
So let me get a little history about you, so I can kind of relate it to where you just left off.
Yeah.
So coming up in Milwaukee, would you say you had a fairly normal childhood?
No, it was very very traumatic, graphic. Starting at the age of 4, numerous encounters with sexual, physical, mental abuse from family members, friends of the family.
How long did that go on for?
Oh God, years, starting from the age of 4 till my mom got me down to Florida when I was about 10, and then I came back up here for Christmas break, and then my cousin, 16 years old, I was 9, 10 years old, and he raped me on Christmas Eve. And it started a huge family hurricane, tornado, catastrophe. Because my grandma was raped and stuff by her dad and her brothers, and she didn't think I should have exposed it being only 9, 10 years old, though.
Did she know about what happened when you were 4?
Not at that time.
And was it the same family member?
Not the same family member, no, but his mom was the one. Like, my aunt is a very diabolical woman. She'd take bums off the street for their social security checks and their food stamps so she wouldn't have to work. Not caring what happened to me and my 2 female cousins.
Sorry to hear that, man.
And
so it continued when you were 16 and your mom. So is that why your mom moved you to Florida, to get you away from that situation? Or?
Well, what it was is she met my stepdad, whose family had a lot of money.
Okay.
And she was from the south side. And she fell in love. They ended up owning the #1 nightclub in West Dallas, where it's just Crawdaddy's now, 65th and Greenfield. Back in the day, it was shenanigans. We had 12 security guards. I was 7 years old. That's when my little sister was born. And I had to grow up fast because my babysitters were doing drugs and having sex in the bathroom, and I'm 7 years old and my sister's a newborn, so I had to learn how to feed, change diapers, do that because my parents have the #1 nightclub.
At 7 years old?
At 7 fucking years old.
So you basically didn't have a childhood.
No, not at all. Not by any means. Between the rapes and the molestations and the beatings, and then having to raise my sister and protect her from that kind of stuff happening to her. Yeah,
So was that mom and dad in the household at the time?
mom and stepdad.
Mom and
But I
stepdad.
didn't know he wasn't my real dad for like years. And
Mm. So how did that happen? She just told you that was your real dad, or
no, man, that was a fucked up story. So I was like about 7.5, 8 years old. I was going to a Catholic school, and I was making her late for work. So she was crying, beating me, screaming. I'm crying. It's raining. We're on the south side of Milwaukee, and we get to a stoplight, 19th and National, pouring rain. And she kicks me out of the car, and I'm standing on the corner in the rain, crying. And she points to a house and says, "Go to your real dad's house."
oh my God,
And that's how I knew
are you serious?
I had a different dad.
Hey, I'm sorry to hear that. Was it your sibling? So was that your? Did you mention your little sister, right? Was
Yeah,
that your only sibling?
yeah,
What was that her dad or?
yeah.
So it was. So
No, yeah, my stepdad's her dad.
so when you found out and he found out, how did things go then?
With my real
Well,
dad,
when you found out he wasn't your real dad, how did he
um,
react and how did
when
things
Megan
go?
was born, it was different because before Megan was born, I was his daughter.
Right.
But then when it was his real blood, my kid's not gonna be like that.
Oh
My
wow.
this and that, and then that's when my beatings got worse, and hers
Oh,
were significant,
yeah,
you
I'm
know,
sorry to hear
and that really hurt because like I thought that was my dad.
that. Right.
You
Yeah, I'm
know?
sorry to hear that, man. That's kind of crazy. So, did you actually meet your biological father?
I did, but he stayed out of my life. Excuse me, I'm sorry. He stayed out of my life because he said that he was scared of my stepfather or was didn't want to get in the middle or some stupid comments. Whatever. He did work at a factory. My mom did get court ordered child support, and I was on his insurance, so he thinks he did something right.
Mm-hmm.
It was court ordered. I guarantee if it wasn't court ordered, he wouldn't have done any of that.
Okay. Yeah, man. I'm sorry to hear that's deep. So, with that,
Um,
what do you think? How do you think that what you went through kind of molded decisions that you made later on?
Oh, dramatically. Trust issues, daddy issues, mommy issues for not protecting me. I I ended up not leading off. I don't want to say my homosexuality is all due from trauma that I had as a kid, but I believe it's got a big significant impact on it
Mm-hmm.
because all the men I was always terrified, like what's going to happen? What do they
Mm-hmm.
want? They don't respect me. But then
Mm-hmm.
I thought because of me and how it happened by so many different men, like what was I doing?
Mm.
But I was a kid. You
Right,
know what I'm
right.
saying? Like I couldn't have been really doing anything,
No, you wasn't doing anything wrong.
you know. But for a long time, I kept thinking there's something wrong with me. Why does this always keep coming to me? You
Yeah,
know?
I couldn't imagine. I apologize for that.
Yeah.
Sorry you went through
Thank you.
that. So what age would you say personally you hopped off the porch? Like,
Um, I got, like I said, once we got to Florida, I put all my time into working with animals, my schooling, and softball, and that became my outlet to the love with the animals was the love I wasn't getting at home.
mm-hmm,
The schooling was something I was good at, and I loved, and I excelled. Sports, another thing. It was an escape. It was my addiction at that time, which was a good, healthy addiction.
mm-hmm,
But and later on, though, when my mom did finally build up the courage and stashed enough money to leave my stepdad because he got physical and stuff like that, not sexually, but mentally and verbally and physically,
abusive.
mentally more abusive, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom finally left him, and we started on our own route. And it was hard. Florida's an expensive state. It's beautiful. Yeah. My mom had worked 3 jobs though, eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every fucking day.
Mm.
And I respect her work ethic, but I held a huge resentment towards her because I didn't have birthday parties. I didn't have spring breaks. I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
summer breaks because I'd watch my sister.
Right.
I had to do all of that. So I had resentment towards my mom. Like, really? Come on. You let all this other shit happen for years. Now I can't even have like my life.
Right.
And then I did good though. I took 2 special tests, one in 7th grade.